Welcome to part 3. Now, if Kenya was an individual, what would be happening now is that the auctioneers would have raided the assets of this individual. They'd have taken away the car, taken away other assets, swept the sitting room, chairs, big TV, etc., gone to the office, taken the computers, and so on and so forth. Now, being auctioned is a devastating experience, okay, and it's very shameful. Yeah, I've been through it, so I know what I'm talking about, okay? But there's one huge advantage about being auctioned, okay? After you're auctioned, yeah, you took a loan, they've come, they've auctioned your property, they've left you with nothing, yeah? In most cases, the auctioneering will be the end of it. That is, they'll recover a substantial or all the money which you owe them, plus more, whatever, yeah? But it'll be over. You can now start on a clean slate. You can now start from the beginning and try and recover, rebuild your life. Yeah, and you need many people do that. If you're not a very proud person who's very concerned about what the neighbors think and what they're saying, etc., if you're just a focused person, you'll recover. Yeah, and you pray hard to God, and you go back to the drawing boards, find out where you went wrong, you'll recover. Yeah, but now a country is different, and actually for a country it's worse. With a country, the nightmare will never end. It's so difficult to end the nightmare. I'm sorry, that's bad news, but that's the truth. Now, let's go back to the individual. If anybody has been in debt, if you've ever been in a financial fix, you'll have noticed one thing. Immediately you end up in trouble. It just seems to multiply and escalate. People who you owed debts and they had forgotten, they suddenly remember. Yeah? Every call you receive on your phone is somebody demanding money. You go back to your home, you think that now you can be able to at least get some peace and quiet. At the gate, you meet about 10 people. Yeah, there are 5 cars parked near your gate. Yeah, because you gave the watchman instructions not to let anybody in. Yeah, all of them are demanding money. You get into your house, the electricity has been disconnected. That is why people say death is a spirit. And once this spirit catches you, you know spirits operate in the spiritual realm. They call other dead spirits and they call each other. And the anointing there for death is going to be crazy. And I guess this is why the Bible describes death as a bottomless pit. A pit that has no bottom. Imagine a hole. You try and look down in the hole. You shout. You don't even receive an echo because there's no bottom. You take a stone, you drop it, you listen very carefully, you can't hear it dropping anywhere. That is death for you. Yeah. So how are countries dealt with, countries that are not able to pay their debts? The long and short of it is that you become slaves, yeah, to the people who lend you the money. Okay. They'll walk in, they'll say, look, your currency is overvalued. You don't have any money. You need to devalue your currency. And even before they do that, the market will react. Anybody who comes across Kenya shillings, he says, Kenya shillings? Kenya is the country in debt. Apana. So the value of your currency is hit very hard. Now, this of course has other immediate effects. When the value of your currency is hit hard, the first thing that happens is that you're importing things using foreign currency, and to get that foreign currency you need shillings. So if you needed 100 shillings for $1 to import something, now suddenly you need 130 shillings or even 150 shillings to import that same thing which just the other day cost you only 100 bob. And of course you're importing it to sell it. So before you're importing, your cost, let's just simplify everything. Your cost for this item landed was 110 shillings, okay? And you are selling at 150. Now, because your landed cost is 170, 180, yeah, you will need to sell it at 200, 300. And also you're desperate, yeah, because you don't have any money. So you want bigger profits, yeah? So you get my drift. It's a chain reaction which happens very quickly. So all of a sudden, things are very expensive. Life is just unbearable. Salaries don't even go up to the 10th of the month. And there's more bad news. The way Kenya runs right now is that counties depend on the central government to send them money. to operate, to invest, to do all kinds of things. Okay? Now the government has already said they'll cut down on the money going to the counties. And already the counties were complaining that the money coming in from central government was not enough. So you get my drift? People who had jobs in the counties will no longer have them. And even those who were kept in employment, salary itakuwa shida. You reach the month of July, you still have not received your March salary. Gosh. And there's even more bad news for business people. You're in business, you're operating, and you need, for your business to thrive, people need to have money. And of course, we know that the biggest spender in any economy is usually the government. So the government is broke. It's not spending money. It's cutting on this, cutting on that. So there's no money in the economy. So what happens to your business? An economic crisis in Kenya that has never, ever before been seen in these shores. Folks, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is exactly where we're going. This is no longer about politics. This is no longer about the opposition. This is no longer about electoral justice. Yeah? Because there reaches a time when you have to put aside everything else. And what time is that? It's the time when you're hungry. When you have not been able to put food on the table. Folks, that is precisely where we're heading. And the worst news of all is that this crisis is going to hit us very quickly. Why is it going to hit us very quickly? Because the Jubilee government has been in denial. Okay? Now, if we can cut them some slack here, yeah, we were going through an electioneering period. There's no way you're going to win an election campaign by admitting to your voters that you're broke, that your government is broke. There's no way. Okay? And therefore, we're in that situation. Let's just simplify it again. Imagine you're mpango wa kando. Okay? You have this rich sponsor. Okay? And you're used to this lifestyle. You're living in this house, iko na swimming pool, iko na kila kitu, golf course, maybe it's at the beach front, right next to the beach. You're enjoying life, yeah? And you know your usual shopping for shoes, your usual shopping for whatever, the saloon you go to, etc. You're continuing in that lifestyle. But what you don't know is that the sponsor has been broke since July last year. So all of a sudden in March, he tells you I don't have money. Okay? And you know, the way you've been operating, it's as if everything is normal. Okay? You ask for this money, he gives you. You ask for this money, he gives you. Yeah? But kumbe, the guy is just digging himself deeper and deeper into debt. Now, the time he's admitting this to you, he's telling you that palatial house where you stay in, not possible. Yeah? He has found another small place in Buruburu. You'll have to go and stay there for some time. With all due respect to those who live in Buruburu, I mean, there's some very nice houses in Buruburu. There's nothing wrong with the Buruburu. But I'm just trying to illustrate a point where somebody is used to staying in Muthaiga, and then all of a sudden they have to move house to somewhere else, like Olympic. Yeah, let me not look like I'm honoring people in one side of the town or the country. Yeah, or maybe even you're staying in this palatial house in Kilimani. Yeah, there's a lot of room. But all of a sudden, you have to move, you wouldn't move out of Kilimani, still the same area, but you have to move to a bed sitter. Tucked away in somebody's servant quarter. Yeah? You get my drift. So we, the citizens, are mpango wa kando, and this sponsor of ours called Kenya has just told us they're broke. Okay? And this thing is going to hit us immediately. That's really what it is. Now I have to end this on a positive note. Okay? Every dark cloud has its silver lining. That's life. And let me share with you another secret. It's easier to make money, yeah, in a chaotic situation than it is to make money when things are okay. Remember the example I gave you earlier? Yeah, the very tribal organization. It was a private company, but it was very tribal. Okay? Now what happened in that example is that when they're in trouble, they threw away their tribalism through the window. But over the years, the company became very stable. Yeah, I helped due to my efforts and the efforts of others. The company became very stable. And therefore, I became dispensable again. Okay, they did not need me. Okay, but as the Swahili says, akufukuzaye hakwambii nenda. So what happened is that I continued doing my work, I said, okay, now the company needs to move to the next level. And I put my proposals. My proposals were rejected. Yeah. Then they come in and they say, oh, we were supposed to, according to our contract, we are supposed to add your income by 20% every 3 months. Yeah. But now we need to renegotiate that contract. Okay. Let it come down to 5%. Things are very difficult. Now, when they're telling you things are very difficult, you're in that organization. You know the kind of money they're making. Yeah. You know exactly what's happening. But you're told, no, this is the decision of the directors. Okay? Please accept it. We need you. You're very important to us. Please accept this decision. But actually in their hearts they're saying, hata huyu mtu akienda, si aende. So, believe me, it is easier to make money when there are problems, upheavals, economic problems that have never before been seen. It's very easy to make money in that situation because there are problems, and problems are opportunities. Now, in case you're in business, you need to really very strongly consider taking your business online. Yeah. Now, what is the advantage of having a business online? The huge immediate advantage of having a business online is that you do not have to depend on the economy of one country. Yeah. The web is a small village that covers every corner of the world. Yeah. It will be easier for you, for instance, to sell your products even to neighboring countries like Uganda and Tanzania. The Tanzanian government right now is cash rich. Yeah. The new president brought in some new strategies of collecting tax that have never before been seen. And he's really cut down on corruption. Corruption at the port, where you import 3 containers, you only pay for 1. Those things ended. So those people now importing 3 containers are paying for all of them. So the government of Tanzania is very rich. And therefore, that is a strong, solid economy at the moment. Okay? And even Uganda. Uganda has always been a very vibrant economy. Okay? They don't have any arid areas. The place is just green, green, green everywhere. Yeah? There's a lot of money in Uganda. Now, admittedly, both these economies are much smaller than the Kenyan economy. But hey, you're not a country. You're a business. Okay? And you're looking for business. Yeah? And as a business, you go where the money is. Okay? So this is one of my suggestions. And I'm sure many of us will have a lot of the other suggestions of what we can do as Kenyans to ride out these very tough times ahead. I'd really appreciate if you can share them in the comments area below. Okay? So that we help each other. Yeah, we see what next. Yeah, so that we're ahead of the game. So that even as others are still waiting to see what will happen next, we're already planning, we already have our plans in place of how we're going to survive this. Now I have a video tutorial which is very intensive. It will help you be able to go into an online business very easily. Yeah, even if you don't have a business. And if you're already in business, we'll help you transfer your current business online. So that at least, first of all, the other thing that happens is you cut down on your costs. Yeah, because when you're online, it's much easier. Yeah, than having a physical location where you're paying rent, etc., etc. So that is one option right there you can look at straight away. Okay, but I would appreciate a lot of other suggestions from you good people out there of what can be done, what people do when it reaches a time when people have to brace and tighten their belts. Yeah, Kenyans are resilient people. We'll get through this. Okay, even as we look to fight for electoral justice, we'll get through this. And hey, even politically, this is an advantage, as we saw in the earlier episode in this series. Why? Because when people are hungry, they'll abandon their tribal voting. That one I can assure you. And therefore now we can vote for real change. We can vote for a government that cares. Yeah. We can vote for a complete new crop of politicians. Yeah. And maybe it would be good for us to go for non-politicians. People who can get the job done. Yeah. And so that we benefit from this great country called Kenya, which has got massive resources. We've got everything. There's no reason whatsoever why we should be broke. That's really the long and short of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.